Consistency is so important as we walk with Jesus through this life. And I'll give you an example as to why. So, a few years ago, I was feeling very tossed around by the circumstances in my life. Bad things would happen, and I'd find myself opening my Bible, trying to find a specific verse to speak to the specific situation I was going through. And although my intention might have been correct in that moment to seek the Lord's wisdom for what I was going through, it was not the right way to go about it. Um, it's very important to have moments, defining moments with the Lord, where we're marked by His presence and things He says. But it's so important to have discipline over long periods of time. So, a few years ago, when that was going on, I felt prompted by the Holy Spirit to start reading the Bible from Genesis 1. And as I did that, and I went through Genesis and Exodus and the law, and I started going through stories in First Kings and reading about all these people and the way that the Lord interacted with them, it did two things for me. Number one, it gave me confidence for hearing His voice in my own life. As I saw the way the Lord would speak to His people throughout history, I was way more sure when He spoke to me that it was Him. I didn't have the confusion of, is this my own thought that I'm having, or is it the voice of the Lord? Because I would weigh it against the way that He used to speak to His people, and it would give me confidence in my own life. And number two, I didn't find myself feeling tossed around when crazy things happened in my life. I didn't need to go search for a specific verse for my situation because I had a foundational knowledge of who the Lord was and what the character of Yahweh was throughout history and in my own life. And those things coupled together made it to where I just had a deeper sense of trust in who He was and more of a longevity when I did have those moments, those defining, marking moments, because it is important to have those things. But if we don't have discipline to sustain them, then we're just going to keep getting tossed around. And so I want to encourage you guys to grow out of spiritual infancy. I think that depending on specific encounters that mark you to sustain you from season to season is not a mature way to go about our spiritual journey. I think that there's an opportunity for you and for me to take those moments that we have with the Lord and then pair them with consistency and discipline so that we have just a very well-sustained communal relationship with the Lord. I love you guys, and I really hope that this helped as you walk with Jesus.